they achieved is singular. Never been done before. Just to put in perspective, 100,000 GPUs, that's, easily the fastest supercomputer on the planet. That's one cluster. A supercomputer that you would build would take normally 3 years to plan.
Right.
And then they deliver the equipment, and it takes 1 year to get it all working.
Yes.
We're talking about 19 days. I mean, Elon is singular in this understanding of engineering and construction and large systems and marshaling resources.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And of course, then his engineering team is extraordinary. I mean, the software team's great, the networking team's great, the infrastructure team is great. Elon understands this deeply.
In a world where technology races ahead at breakneck speeds, today's investors find themselves glued to a story that is potentially reshaping the very landscape of artificial intelligence. Bolting from the heart of the tech universe is a narrative involving none other than Nvidia Corporation and its iconic CEO, Jensen Huang. Adding intrigue to this tale are Tesla and SpaceX dynamo Elon Musk and his new brainchild, xAI. But hold on, before the plot unravels, skimming the surface, we've got a high-tech Memphis supercluster, a relationship teetering on the edge of a tech revolution, and a spotlight on CoreWeave, an AI startup pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Did we mention the financial titans like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley fanning the flames of AI's promising future? Ready your curiosity, there's much to explore. Welcome back everyone to Investocracy.
Well, I appreciate you recognizing how computing has changed. In fact, the reason why people thought, and many still do, that you designed a better chip, it has more flops, has more flips and flops and bits and bytes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you see their keynote slides. And it's got all these flips and flops and bar charts and things like that. And that's all good. I mean, look, horsepower does matter.
Yes.
So these things fundamentally do matter. However, unfortunately, that's old thinking. It is old thinking in the sense that the software was some application running on Windows, and the software is static.
Right.
Which means that the best way for you to improve the system is just making faster and faster chips. But we realized that machine learning is not human programming. Machine learning is not about just the software, it's about the entire data pipeline. It's about, in fact, the flywheel of machine learning is the most important thing. So how do you think about enabling this flywheel on the one hand, and enabling data scientists and researchers to be productive in this flywheel? And that flywheel starts at the very, very beginning. A lot of people don't even realize that it takes AI to curate data to teach an AI. And that AI alone is pretty complicated.
Yeah.
And as that AI itself is improving, is it also accelerating, again, when we think about the competitive advantage, right? It's combinatorial of all these systems.
Exactly. And I was exactly going to lead to that. Because of smarter AIs to curate the data, we now even have synthetic data generation and all kinds of different ways of curating data, presenting data to. And so before you even get to training, you've got massive amounts of data processing involved. And so people think about, PyTorch, that's the beginning end of the world, and it was very important. But don't forget, before PyTorch is amount of work. After PyTorch is amount of work. And that, the think about the flywheel is really the way you ought to think. How do I think about this entire flywheel, and how do I design a computing system, a computing architecture that helps you take this flywheel and be as effective as possible? It's not one slice of an application, training. Does that make sense? That's just one step. Okay. Every step along that flywheel is hard. And so the first thing that you should do, instead of thinking about how do I make Excel faster? How do I make, Doom faster? That was kind of the old days, isn't that right? Now you have to think about how do I make this flywheel faster? And this flywheel has a whole bunch of different steps. And there's nothing easy about machine learning, as you guys know. There's nothing easy about what OpenAI does or X does or Gemini and the team that DeepMind does. I mean, there's nothing easy about what they do. And so we decided, Look, this is really what you ought to be thinking about. This is the entire process. You want to accelerate every part of that. You want to respect Amdahl's law. Amdahl's law would suggest, well, if this is 30% of the time, and I accelerated that by a factor of 3, I didn't really accelerate the entire process by that much. Does that make sense?
Right.
And you really want to create a system that accelerates every single step of that, because only in doing the whole thing can you really materially improve that cycle time. And that flywheel, that rate of learning is really, in the end, what causes the exponential rise. And so what I'm trying to say is that our perspective about, a company's perspective about what you're really doing manifests itself into the product.
Right.
And notice, I've been talking about this flywheel,
the entire cycle. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we accelerate everything.
Right
now, the main focus is video. A lot of people are focused on physical AI and video processing.
Right.
Just imagine that front end.
Right.
The terabytes per second of data that are coming into the system. Give me an example of a pipeline that is going to ingest all of that data, prepare it for training in the first place.
Yeah.
So that entire thing is CUDA accelerated.
And people are only thinking about text models today.
Yeah.
But the future is, this video models, as well as, using, some of these text model like O1 to really process a lot of that data before we even get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So language models are going to be involved in every single. It took the industry enormous technology and effort to train a language model, to train these large language models. Now we're using a large language model in every single step of the way.
Yeah.
It's pretty phenomenal.
Let's dive into this compelling saga, shall we? At the center of this storm is Jensen Huang, the charismatic and forward-thinking CEO of Nvidia Corporation. Known for his deep understanding of tech innovation, Huang recently joined a conversational dance on the BG2 pod with Brad Gerstner of Altimeter Capital and partner Clark Tang. The main subject, none other than Elon Musk's audacious XAI project and its almost mythical Memphis supercluster, all achieved in a dazzlingly short period. Imagine it, a supercluster of 100,000 Nvidia H100 GPUs springing to life in a mere 19 days. That's not just a story. It's a feat rivaling the tallest of tech tales. Usually, these high-performing supercomputers take years to plan and build. Musk and Huang's collaboration showcases a relationship steeped in mutual respect and admiration, one that has intrigued many in the tech community. In this riveting discussion, Huang's words painted Musk as one of a kind in orchestrating and executing massive engineering and technological marvels. He applauded the team at XAI, a testament to the unconventional synergy between two relentless visionaries. It's a classic tech stock twist where the protagonist builds the newest, shiniest machine in record time, aided by orchestral-level precision coordination. Meanwhile, let's not overlook Nvidia's other pioneering venture-shaping headlines. CoreWeave. This Nvidia-backed AI startup has announced securing a whopping $650 million credit line to further expand its business and construct data centers at an ambitious scale. With a history of supplying juggernauts like Microsoft and Mistral with GPUs, CoreWeave is setting the AI landscape ablaze, with its goal to establish 28 data centers by the end of 2024, stretching from Austin to London. All this while the company reports $2 billion in revenue, already under contract for the same year, proving that CoreWeave isn't just playing in the sandbox of tech, it's building tomorrow's playground. But before we go any further, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates.
Well, Intel is extraordinary. Intel is extraordinary because they were probably the first company that was incredibly good at manufacturing, process engineering, manufacturing, and that one click above manufacturing, which is building the chip.
Right.
And designing the chip and architecting the chip in the x86 architecture and building faster and faster x86 chips, that was their brilliance. And they fused that with manufacturing. Our company is a little different in the sense that And we recognize this, that in fact, parallel processing doesn't require every transistor to be excellent. Serial processing requires every transistor to be excellent. Parallel processing requires lots and lots of transistors to be more cost effective. I'd rather have 10 times more transistors, 20% slower, than 10 times less transistors, 20% faster. Does that make sense? They would like the opposite. And so single-threaded performance, single-threaded processing, and parallel processing was very different. And so we observed that, in fact, our world is not about being better going down. We want to be very good, as good as we can be. But our world is really about much better going up. Parallel computing, parallel processing is hard because every single algorithm requires a different way of refactoring and re-architecting the algorithm for the architecture. What people don't realize is that you can have 3 different ISAs, CPU ISAs. They all have their own C compilers. You could take software and compile down to that ISA. That's not possible in accelerated computing. That's not possible in parallel computing. The company who comes up with the architecture has to come up with their own OpenGL. So we revolutionized deep learning because of our domain-specific library called cuDNN. Without cuDNN, nobody talks about cuDNN because it's one layer underneath PyTorch and TensorFlow, and back in the old days, Cafe and Theano and now Triton, and there's a whole bunch of different frameworks. And so that domain-specific library, cuDNN, a domain-specific library called Optics. We have a domain-specific library called cuQuantum, Rapids. The list of Ariel for industry-specific
algorithms that sit below that PyTorch layer that everybody's focused on. Like I've heard oftentimes, well, if LLMs,
if we didn't invent that, no application on top could work. You guys understand what I'm saying? So the mathematics is really what NVIDIA is really good at is algorithm. That fusion between the science above, the architecture on the bottom. That's what we're really good at.
Amid all this, the stock market laughs with its own brand of quirky humor. After all, they say the stock market is one place where karma regularly loses out to market volatility. Nvidia, as a stock, dances elegantly amidst this whirlwind of enterprises, with analysts weighing in positively, given its proactive moves in the AI sector and strategic alliances bolstering its growth narrative. CoreWeave's ability to raise significant capital flows indicates a broader market trend. There's a gold rush happening in AI, with big banks jostling to partake in opportunities ahead of numerous potential IPOs in the space. Industry experts forecast the generative AI market could surpass $1 trillion by 2032, reinforcing this confidence. Interestingly, a recent tweet from Tech Observer at Tech Trends exclaimed, "AI's untapped potential is like the universe, limitless. With firms like Nvidia and CoreWeave at the frontier, it feels like we're witnessing Apollo 11, but for AI. The excitement is palpable, fueled by Nvidia CEO Huang's strategic plays with Musk's xAI and now in partnership with CoreWeave. With companies like Nvidia leading the charge and Musk displaying his quintessential entrepreneurial flair, these tech behemoths command the market's rapt attention. Recognizing this synergy, several financial institutions such as Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, and Morgan Stanley are providing the bridge to the AI-driven future. As an investor, the question remains, who wouldn't want a seat on this thrilling tech roller coaster? But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
But the thing that I really we really benefit from is because we're working on training these large language models and the new architectures of it. We're able to think about how do we create architectures that's excellent at inference someday when the time comes. And so we've been thinking about iterative models for reasoning models, and how do we create very interactive inference experiences for this personal agent of yours. You don't want to say something and have to go off and think about it for a while. You want it to interact with you quite quickly. So how do we create such a thing? And what came out of it was NVLink. NVLink, so that we could take these systems that are excellent for training But when you're done with it, the inference performance is exceptional. And so you want to optimize for this time to first token.
Right.
And time to first token is insanely hard to do, actually, because time to first token requires a lot of bandwidth. But if your context is also rich, then you need a lot of flops. Yeah. And so you need an infinite amount of bandwidth, infinite amount of flops at the same time in order to achieve just a few millisecond response time. And so that architecture is really hard to do. And we invented Grace Blackwell NVLink for that.
Right. In the spirit of time, I have more questions about that, but
don't worry about the time. Hey guys, hey, listen, Janine.
Yeah.
Look.
Let's do it till it's right.
Let's do it until right. There you go.
I love it. So you know, I was at dinner.
Yeah.
With Andy Jassy earlier.
See, now we don't have to worry about the time.
With Andy Jassy earlier this week, and Andy said, you know, we've got Trainium, coming, and Inferentia coming, and I think most people, again, view these as a problem for NVIDIA. But in the very next breath, he said, NVIDIA is a huge and important partner to us and will remain a huge and important partner for us as far as I can see into the future. The world runs on NVIDIA, right? So when you think about the custom ASICs that are being built, that are going to go after targeted application, maybe the inference accelerator at Meta, maybe, you know, Trainium at Amazon, or Google's TPUs, and then you think about the supply shortage that you have today, do any of those things change that dynamic, right? Or are they complements to the systems that they're all buying from you?
We're just doing different things.
Yes.
We're trying to accomplish different things. You know, what NVIDIA is trying to do is build a computing platform for this new world, this machine learning world, this generative AI world, this agentic AI world. We're trying to create, you know, as you know, what's just so deeply profound is after 60 years of computing, we reinvented the entire computing stack. The way you write software from programming to machine learning, the way that you process software from CPUs to GPU, the way that the applications from software to artificial intelligence, right? And so software tools to artificial intelligence. So every aspect of the computing stack and the technology stack has been changed. You know, what we would like to do is to create a computing platform that's available everywhere. And this is really the complexity of what we do. The complexity of what we do is, if you think about what we do, we're building an entire AI infrastructure, and we think of it as one computer. Right. I've said before, the data center is now the unit of computing. Yeah. To me, when I think about a computer, I'm not thinking about that chip. Right. I'm thinking about this thing. That's my mental model, and all the software and all the orchestration, all the machinery that's inside. That's my computer. Right. And we're trying to build a new one every year. Yeah. That's insane. Nobody has ever done that before. Right. We're trying to build a brand new one every single year, and every single year we deliver 2 or 3 times more performance. As a result, every single year we reduce the cost by 2 or 3 times. Every single year we improve the energy efficiency by 2 or 3 times. Incredible. Right? And so we ask our customers, don't buy everything at one time, buy a little every year. Right. Okay, and the reason for that, we want them cost average into the future. All of it's architecturally compatible. Okay, now, so that building that alone at the pace that we're doing is incredibly hard. Now, the double hard part is then we take all of that, and instead of selling it as an infrastructure or selling it as a service, we disaggregate all of it and we integrate it into GCP. We integrate it into AWS. We integrate it into Azure. We integrate it into X. Does that make sense? Yes. And so everybody's integration is different. We have to get all of our architectural libraries and all of our algorithms and all of our frameworks and integrate it into theirs. We get our security system integrated into theirs. We get our networking integrated into theirs. Isn't that right? Right. Then we do basically 10 integrations. And we do this every single year. Right. Now, that is the miracle. That is the miracle.
Why?
As we wrap up this tale of technological wonder, consider your next investment move in this rapidly evolving story. By striking at the heart of future-forward industries like AI, NVIDIA's stock embodies an enticing avenue for growth. Current evaluations suggest a promising trajectory, underpinned by Nvidia's pervasive influence across groundbreaking sectors and initiatives. Notably, the sentient giants at CNBC forecast AI's economic potential is only just awakening, with Nvidia continuing to cut through competitive noise with innovative tools and prolific partnerships. Looking forward, as we envision a world saturated with AI's powerful presence, Nvidia remains critical in this transformation. CoreWeave's and xAI's strides further affirm this momentum, projecting a vigorous future for those who invest wisely. Nvidia's robust position isn't merely a promise but a lit pathway, illuminated by strategic foresight and pioneering partnerships. And now, dear viewers, what are your thoughts on Nvidia's relentless pursuit of tech supremacy? What do you predict for the future of AI and its burgeoning market? Leave your comments below, and let's navigate this exhilarating journey together. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like Nvidia have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen.